Hey guys, it's Bogey Valdez. We are live right here in San Diego. We are with Keep It Real CrossFit Montana's Most Motivated. Right now I'm with celebrity fitness trainer Obi Obadike. Obi Obadike. Obi is a celebrity trainer. He's worked with such trainers as Julian Michaels on a Spike TV.
Sweat Inc.
As well. He's been on over 50 magazine covers all over the world. And Obi, why don't you just tell some of the people about your past and how you got involved in the fitness industry?
Sure. I found my love through fitness by being an athlete. I ran track, basketball in high school and college, and got into weight training and fitness because I was a really skinny kid growing up, and I used to get made fun of all the time. And so what motivated me to get into fitness was just I wanted to build my body and have more self-confidence. So I didn't have a lot of confidence as a teenager because I was just so scrawny and skinny. I've been very blessed and fortunate. I've written articles for some of the top fitness magazines all over the world, and I've trained celebrities like Steve Harvey, Morris Chestnut, ESPN analyst Stephen A. Smith. I just had a book that just came out in the spring of last year called The Cut. It was a bestseller that I co-authored with Morris Chestnut. I was on the Today Show for 2 months in a weight loss series there. So I've really done I've done it all in fitness in terms of as an influencer and as a TV host and writer. So I'm definitely very honored just the fact that I've had the opportunities that I've had.
Yeah, we're really honored to have you here. Can you tell us about maybe some of the experiences you went through when you were on your initial fitness journey? Maybe some limiting beliefs you may have had at that time and how you were able to overcome those.
Well, I think it was just like any kid, we're always trying to find from something. So for me, I was always motivated by these bodybuilding magazines. I always just thought these big bodybuilder guys are just like, wow, man, look at how phenomenal they look. And I really wanted to be fit enough where someone could look at me in a positive way. And so I was so motivated to change how my look and also build more confidence, because when you feel better about yourself, you have more confidence, and then you feel like you can succeed in other areas of your life. And so I really just kind of growing up, I really just wanted to build my body, and as I built my body naturally, never done drugs or steroids ever, I started having more confidence. It made me a better athlete in college. The feeling that you have when you've reached your goal or you've transformed yourself is a beautiful feeling. And once I made a decision to make fitness as a career and being able to see if I can do that for other people, that's a powerful thing when you can actually work with someone and they have a goal in mind, and your objective is to basically make them their best version of themselves physically. They can't look like me or look like you. They have their own DNA that they were blessed with by the man upstairs, and so your objective is to try to optimize your genetic potential through your philosophy. So I think that's a really beautiful thing to be able to do as a health and wellness professional.
Yes, it is. Now, when you have a client or just someone that you're giving advice to or coaching, what sort of advice do you give them as far as nutrition? How important is nutrition to them?
It's 70-80% of the battle. I mean, if I'm working with someone, we're not going to do the whole you do the exercise, and I'm gonna hire someone nutrition. No, I have to do both because they work hand in hand.
Absolutely.
So the nutritional component is important. I do believe in balance. Don't believe in anything extreme, dieting or exercising. So I do believe in the whole 80% rule where you can be healthy 80% of the time and indulge 20% of the time. And I don't think it's sustainable to have someone eat healthy 7 days a week without any type of indulgement. I don't think it's realistic. I don't even think it's realistic to have someone work out 7 days a week. I think they have to give people a little bit of a break, and there's studies on that, just psychologically, So it's really having balance in the way you eat and the way you exercise. And that approach, for me, at least with my clients, I've been very successful with in terms of people being able to manage their weight, lose the weight, but basically keep the weight off.
Now, when you say indulge, that's my thing is coming up on interpretation. So you may interpret that differently than me. Somebody watching may say, well, he said I can indulge, so that means go out on St. Patty's Day.
No. You and I know you have to be specific with people, because you say indulge, I mean, going to some all-you-can-eat buffet. You know what I mean? And the buffet was like, after you got done, you just consumed about 3,000 calories in that buffet. So you have to be specific. I think indulgement, what I refer to that is basically a palm of your hand, a small slice of pizza, a small hamburger.
Would you set a parameter for your client or someone? You say, hey, if you're going to indulge or have a cheat or whatever, this is what it will be.
I literally give options, and I actually give portion options. You have to, because particularly if someone has a goal and they need to lose a certain amount of weight, if you're not specific, they're going to interpret it something differently, and then all of a sudden they do their Monday weigh-in, you're like, what the hell happened here? You know what I mean? So you have to be specific.
Gotcha. Yeah. Now, what's your advice to somebody who maybe they're dealing with close-knit negativity, okay? And what I mean by that is not outside haters, but when it's someone, say, within my house, or my best friend, or my wife, or my kids, or someone I grew up with, when they make little snare comments. How do you tell, or at least teach someone to get by that and not let that affect their goals?
Right. Well, I think it's important to be around people that are positive and support you. I think having a great support system is it really ties into your overall goal. It's very difficult to succeed if you're living with someone who's against what you're doing. It's because if someone's in your head telling you don't do this or don't do that, or you're trying to eat healthy and your wife is bringing in Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's like it doesn't mix, right? So you really have to make sure that if you truly are serious about wanting to lose weight or manage your weight or get in the best shape possible, is being around people that support that. I think if you're around people that are contradicting, they're the antagonist, I don't think you're going to succeed. I think it's going to be very difficult. So you need to have people that are going to support you. That is all part of the process, collectively.
Yeah. Which was going to lead me to my next question, is how important is your circle of friends to not only just fitness, but all of your goals?
Absolutely.
And this is personal for you.
Oh yeah, for me, the people that I hang around with are people that are all positive. I do believe that the company that you're around will either be influential or not influential. So I am very selective in people that I hang out with. I'm not saying they have to be the most successful people. People that are doing things that are positive people. I'm not saying I have to have the same goals, but I typically don't associate myself with people that are negative or aren't positive people. I do think the company you keep will a lot of times it will sometimes permeate in the type of success you'll have.
There you go.
So it's basically positive energy. It's basically what it comes down to. It's not rocket science.
Yeah. Advice for someone who may believe that where they're from. See, where I'm from in Salt Lake City, certain neighborhoods, sometimes we may have limiting beliefs because of where we're from. It's associated as a ghetto neighborhood, or where I live now, some people associate it as a poor town, or for people who come from these areas where they have these limiting beliefs, what's your advice to them to break through that?
Well, you know what? It's tough. It's tough. You hear about that all the time of these success stories, someone coming from the ghetto or whatever. I think the thing about it, man, is that understand that many people have come out of those environments. So try to use certain individuals as templates, as examples. If you've done research and you've seen someone come out of a certain area that's maybe an environment that is maybe a ghetto environment or low income environment, and they were able to succeed, or maybe they're the first person out of their family to graduate from college, try to use other successful examples of stories as motivation for yourself. We all typically will gravitate to people that have similar backgrounds, similar stories. So use that as motivation, because there are people that have come out of those types of environments, right? So you'll find someone when you do your research that has a similar story to you that you can identify with, and then just try to pattern yourself based on the success that they've had, and use that. Like, if that guy was able to do it, if she was able to do it, then I can. And that's what I typically have done, is that if I've seen someone that have done it, then it makes it easier to say, okay, I could do this.
So what's your top 3 books that you recommend for anybody?
There's one book that I wouldn't say it's fitness, but
It doesn't have to be fitness, really.
There's one book that I actually think is a great book by I think it's Malcolm McDowell. It's called Blink. And it's basically a book on subconscious racial biases that we all have, and how you can, and how the only way that you can change your subconscious biases is by by associating yourself with people from different cultures, and being around people that are different from you. It's called Blink. It's a phenomenal book. We all have subconscious biases that we're not even aware of.
Absolutely.
And the only way, and there's a test that you have to take, and that they have in the book, and it's a subconscious racial bias test.
Yeah.
And I think they've had people that have taken the test and they continue to fail it, and the only way they can pass it is once they step out of their environment and be around people that are different than them, and then take the test again and pass it. So it's just basically understanding that we all have biases, and the only way to change those biases subconsciously is to be around people that are different than you.
Do you think it's important for people to first acknowledge and have that honest moment and say, you know what, maybe I do have a bias? Because that may be difficult for some people to begin with.
It is. It definitely is. You know, I think that sometimes it's hard to even recognize it.
Especially a racial bias, because some people may think, oh, does that mean I'm racist?
Yeah, no, it doesn't mean you're
now?
racist. No, it doesn't. You
But
know?
society has put
yeah,
things in our head.
absolutely. When you've used to seeing something in the media all the time, in magazines or whatever, you subconsciously just think that's more favorable to the eye over something else. And a lot of times, the only way to change that is being around people that are much different from you, and spending time with them and speaking to them and stuff like that.
Spend time in reality.
Yeah, absolutely. It's called Blink. It's a phenomenal book.
Check it out.
I also wanted to just plug I just started my new line called Obi Strong.
Yep.
It's a new supplement line. I decided to create it. It's a natural ingredient line. It's got a pre-workout, Obi Whey, post-workout product, and an appetite suppressant. Decided to create this line because I was just discussing with the supplement industry in general, and I wanted to really create a line that actually people can actually trust. The ingredients are at the back of the bottle. There's no proprietary blends, so it's top of the line ingredients, all science based, no stimulants. And if you try the products out, they're phenomenal. Go to obistrong.com. We have a booth here inside where everyone is speaking and stuff.
What's your final question? What's your advice to people who want to get the body that they want and live the life that they want?
You know what, man? To be honest with you, man, is I always say, I don't know if you can say, I want to get the body I want, because I don't know if that's realistic. You know why? Because we all have a DNA. We all have, it's called deoxyribonucleic acid. So we're limited to our genetics and what we can do. So I always say, get your best body, your best version of yourself, as opposed to the best body, because that's
whatever you interpreted in your head.
Exactly. If you can get your best body, you've won. You've succeeded. You know, if you're trying to look at some girl on social media, on Instagram, and say, I want to have a big booty like that, a high butt and a small waist, you may not have the genetics for that. You can go and squat all you want.
Yeah.
You know, you may not have the genetics and the DNA for that. Huh?
Are you on camera?
Yes, sir. Yeah, no worries. You may not have the genetics for that. So the most important thing, man, is being able to be the best version of yourself. And if you're able to be the best version of yourself, that's a beautiful thing. You've won, you succeed.
All right, guys. Yeah. Hey, you've heard it. This is one of the top celebrities out here. Make sure you follow. Check out obistrong.com.
Obistrong.com. Check out our products out there. Amazing. I know you're going to love them.
You guys are going to
check them out.
We're going to check it out as well. I'm Montana. I'm Bogey Valdez.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks a lot,
Appreciate it.